uh, the walls come tumbling down.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, Thurl was the man. He was the man.
Yeah, I think
He was
he
vice
had the
president.
reputation, and I think he was the first guy to go out and get some credentials from other organizations back
Well,
then.
he not only went out and got credentials from other organizations, but he was the guy that really got money.
Hmm.
He was
worked
vice president.
at Citibank. Didn't he? Wasn't a loan officer?
Yeah, he was loan officer for uh, First National Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, First National Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was. We 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 had, we had a dojo down on South Street. Okay. You walked in. Uh, there was a tatami, and there was a bunch of stuff around, and that was it.
Hmm.
Thurl opened up the Akron Studio of Self-Defense.
Okay.
I don't know whether or not you were around when Kewpie Burger was. That was down on Broadway. And on Broadway, there was this dance studio,
Okay.
Arthur Murray.
Arthur Murray. Yeah. Arthur Murray Dance Studio. Okay? Thurl had his operation next to Arthur Murray.
Okay.
When you walked in, there was there were pagodas and all sort of accoutrements having to do with Japan, period. Uh, the waterfalls and yeah, koi pond and
He
the
was good.
young lady would greet you.
He was good at marketing.
That was a knockout. And when we when we walked in, we were like a bunch of klutzes, you know. But it was visually very pleasant, very pleasant. And then you left the lobby, and you walked in, and you had a change room and all of that. And he had it laid out. I mean, it was. He didn't cut any corners
Okay.
as far as that dojo was concerned. Hmm. Yeah.
Now, how did Miles Lampkin get around Eugene Shy and you? Did you know Miles Lampkin? Did you train together?
I trained Miles.
Oh, so you're Miles Lampkin's karate teacher.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
I never knew who he studied under. I
Yes.
just heard his name many times.
Mhm.
And he in turn taught Lawrence Nixon karate.
Who?
Lawrence Nixon.
Nixon. Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
And did Miles Lampkin also do judo?
He did, but not a lot.
Okay. And then let's see. Who were the first Taekwondo people around? Was I.J. Kim, Iljut Kim around back in the 50s, or did he come in the 60s, or when did he get to Ohio?
Probably the '60s,
Okay.
late '60s. But the Koreans were were late in getting into this game.
Yeah, no, Japanese arts came first in the early 50s after American military brought back from World War II, and then Korean arts came late 50s, early 60s.
After the Americans came in, well, the Korean War.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The Korean War was such that the Americans spent a lot of time in Japan. And it was, they also spent a lot of time in Okinawa. A lot of time in Okinawa. In fact, there was a question as to whether or not we were studying karate or Okinawa tea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got to put that in the mix too.
Yeah,
Okinawa tea. So that was quite interesting. But yeah, Miles was quite a guy. Complained a lot.
Okay.
Wouldn't let him off the hook. And then he started to develop, and he was phenomenal. He was phenomenal.
Was there a restaurant where he worked or something? I met a student of Al Wazel's who said he'd met the Shies, and Miles Lampion did karate, and he said he worked in a restaurant, and I forget which person also worked in the restaurant, but he said they'd always be end up fighting while on the clock at work. I'll have to get back to some. Okay.
No, I don't remember anything about a restaurant.
And did you meet? How did you meet Ron Terry?
That's my cousin.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you? Do you know Professor Bob King?
King, no.
Okay. Do you know?
You know of him.
Okay.
Huh?
You know Bobby King.
Okay.
He was one of our shy students.
Yeah, but I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't know the name, but
Yeah.
Okay.
he was
Okay.
there when you came in.
Right.
Okay.
Tell me about Minerva.
Minerva.
Okay.
Well, I was working at Babcock's and Wilcox.
Okay.
I'm not sensitive to race issues.
Okay.
I tell it like it is.
Good.
Okay? At Babcock's and Wilcox, I had, while I was teaching at teaching and lecturing and
Okay.
drinking and
Okay.
all the rest of it, and starting a family and whatever, I decided I would get my degree.
Okay.
After I got my degree, I had an interview with the manager of the department, who advised me that as long as I was the color that I am, there would be nothing for me at Babcock's and Wilcox.
Okay.
Okay, nothing greater than where I was.
You hit a ceiling, and that's where it stopped.
Excuse me?
You hit a ceiling, and that's where it stopped.
That was it.
Yeah.
So, no matter what contribution I made to the organization, there would be nothing for me. And I made a conscious decision to get the hell out of there.
Good for you.
So, so I went to TRW.
Okay.
And at TRW, there was an accepting community of Minerva, extremely accepting. They had one black family in Minerva. It was the Powell family. Powell.
Okay.
They have a golf course in North Canton, which happens to be the only PGA. Wait a minute. This is WPGA, because it's a Women Professional Golf Association. That's shucks. Well, anyway, the Powell family owned that golf course, and it is outstanding. I met those people. They took me under their wing, and they said, "Well, you want somebody to talk to, go for it, because we can tell you anything you want to know about this community." And as I said before, they were extremely accepting. Only black person in the organization at TRW. No problem. But I wanted to give something back to the organization. One, we taught karate and judo, principally judo, in courses down there. We took all of the money, and there was some money which was given to the club. By the way, I never took one dime from Keno. I don't know of anything that they paid me for, ever.
Who decided on the name Keno's?
They did.
Eugene Shai? Or James Shai?
Yeah. But that was before I got there. Yeah. Because I thought it was a rinky-dink name. You know what I mean? When I say that, I say it with love. I mean, you know.
They took it from Kano.
Yeah.
They took it from Kano, but put the E in there.
Mm-hmm. No, we taught up at Tomodachi Judo Club,
Where's that?
Cleveland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Used to be on Broadway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Also taught Stacy. Stacy's. Heck, drawing a blank.
That's okay.
But there was another outfit up there in Cleveland that was quite well thought of. Mm-hmm. And I used to teach up there, karate.
Okay.
But again, never got one dime for those classes that we taught. Now, in Minerva, what I wanted to do, I wanted to have a tennis court where we could flood it in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
and they could skate.
Okay.
Took half of the money and put it in a slush fund, and we built that skating rink.
Okay.
Okay, the skating rink, tennis rink, skating rink, tennis rink, slash. And when we graduated the students, we had one heck of a graduation party where the students could demonstrate their capabilities and all of that stuff. They were given green belts. I would say that there were 400, I would say that there were 300 people there.
Pretty impressive.
I put on karate demonstrations and all of that mess and whatever. Eh. A lot of the stuff, 2,000 years, I've lost it.
Are these pictures of South Street, some of them?
These are pictures of, that's in Minerva.
Okay.
Now some of these pictures are on the wall in the dojo.
Okay.
I don't know that they are, but they were.
I don't want to mess up any particular order.
No, there's no order.
Okay.
Pass it this way.
Absolutely.
This was one picture, and this was the audience.
Okay.
Best way to learn is to teach. These were students that they were teaching.